On today's show, I'm going to show you how to make a really quick lasagna, just in a pan like this, with some noodles, cheese, ground beef, throw it in the oven for a few minutes, and it's done. So, let's get started. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Diabetic Diet Show. I have the oven preheating to 375, and I need to get the pan going and start cooking the ground beef. That will take the longest. So get some oil in the pan. I've used lean ground beef, so it's not going to be overly oily. I'd rather add the oil to control it. So we'll get a little bit of olive oil going there. Here's our ground beef. Just like that, and as soon as it starts cooking, I'll break it up. I've pre-cooked the noodles. I used a large frying pan, filled it up with some water, and I put the noodles in and just made sure that the water covered the noodles. Then I brought the water to a boil. I set a timer for 10 minutes, got them to boil, and I tell you, they're hard to handle. I laid them out like this on these parchment paper so that they will start to dry out. Let me make room here for one of them. But they kind of want to break apart, come apart on you. This is the little bit of a difficult part of making the recipe. Okay, that's about as much as you can get broke up at first until it gets going. Now the oven just came up to temperature. Now for the ground beef, I have Worcestershire sauce, and I have onion powder and garlic powder. And if you like onions a lot, you can mush up onions in a food processor and put them in here. I prefer to do some powder like that and just use the powder. It's easier on my stomach. And then this is just some roasted liquid garlic. If you want, you can just put a little bit of this in. It's strong, I wouldn't use too much. Now I have it all laid out real nice, but I'm going to go back to the gas burner. You just have to watch this gas burner because it's too hot and the electric isn't hot enough, so there's good and bad. Salt and pepper. It's just the basics. That's all you need for this. Let's let this go and get this pan out of the way, and then we can start on our noodles. I've switched the hamburger back to the electric so it'll cook slow. I have my noodles here. You want to lay them in here so that about half is sticking out. As you can see, I had trouble with this one. It broke apart. So I don't know if they make a thicker noodle. If you can find one, that would be better. But these are left over from the lasagna recipe we did the other day. We didn't use the whole box. So this is perfect to do another show like this. And we'll let that sit and check on the ground beef. Once your ground beef is done, we can switch it over here to this. Turn off the burner and get a scoop. Now, I do have slotted scoops. I guess we'll have to use a spoon. is if I can in any way, I want to leave, if there's any liquid at all, which doesn't look like there's a lot running, there might be a little bit. But I want to leave, if there's any liquid, I want to leave it in the pan. So I'm just going to put some ground beef like this inside. Probably good to scoop the ground beef off the top of my pan, put it in the center of this, and then I can spread it out from here. Then for cheese, I have all American cheese. And of course, the bigger your cake dish is here that you have, the more cheese and stuff you can put in here. Did you know that American cheese is not really cheese? It's a process, byproduct process of making cheese. There's a little tip for you. Some people like to eat only what is really healthy and natural for them. American cheese is man-made. Right in the middle. Okay, now we fold these in. Kind of in a star pattern. Just like that. Then, mozzarella cheese. This is absolutely my favorite. Okay, now we put it in the oven. Keep an eye on it, see how long it takes to cook. I've never made it before, so we're going to learn together. The timer is about to beep. It's been just 15 minutes, and I opened up the stove and took a peek at it. It looks good enough. Looks like the cheese and everything is melted. It is a little warm. Put it here on the concrete countertop. It'll help it cool. And we are going to have to cut this. So, to cut into this, normally you'd want to let it cool a little bit, okay? But I'm just going to use a small paring knife like this. Don't need anything big or overly sharp, but you're just going to cut it like it's a pie. And if I cut it this way, it would be for 4 people. Try not to scratch the bottom of my pie tin here. Okay, let's see if I cut that good enough. I just so happen to have a tool here to remove this. Let's see, what is a really good looking one? This one here is a large one. If you don't get it cut good enough. And then we grab some tomato sauce. Just put some tomato sauce right on there like that. If you want, you can sprinkle a little bit more cheese on top, but this is going to be pretty good. So if you like these kind of recipes and you want to learn how to make these kind of things, I have a whole bunch more recipes right here.